Tua Rahubat, everyone. Rahubat means greetings. Okay, so if you're just joining us, please share the room. All right, today's topic is what's really going on Earth. What's really going on Earth? Nadum. Okay, just some housekeeping before we get started. If you are in the class, we ask if you could use the mic when you're speaking so that those online can hear you. And Rahubat, everyone on TikTok, I see you all joining. Rahubat, everyone on Clubhouse. Rahubat, everyone on Zoom. All right, so please share the room if you can so that we can get as many people on as possible. Okay, so my name's Saken Sakamreye. I am a student teacher of the Master Teacher Pana Babianun, who we affectionately refer to as our Master Teacher, the guide for this day and time, the reformer. I mean, he has many, many titles. And if you're new to us, I'm sharing the website, the official United Sabians worldwide, so that you can find out more information about who we are, who the Master Teacher is, and where we're located worldwide. You can just go to contacts, go to bookstores, and find out the nearest location to where you are at, because there's nothing as important as you connecting physically and gathering. That's what the word together means, to gather together. And that's important because you share and exchange energy. And when we come together, we can do many things. We can heal each other. So if someone's energy is low, those that have high vibration and high energy, they can help to heal that other person. So it actually evens out. So the United Sabians Worldwide.com website has a lot of information regarding, about the Master Teacher. So who is Dr. York? You can go in there and learn a lot. We have online store. We cover the different aspects of our community, the Sabian man, or Nwapian man, the Sabian woman, Nwapian woman, the elders in our community, because they have a lot of wisdom and experience to share with the younger people. So we also cover the young people. When you look at Wu-Sabat, it's also referred to as Wu-Nwap and many other names over the years. And Sabians, we also refer to as Nwapians. We've been known by many titles over the years because the way the Master Teacher Pana Babianun taught us is he walked us through the various schools of religion and beyond. So he went through the three monotheistic religions, Abrahamic religions, Christianity, Islam, Judaism. We went into the Sumerian schools, what people call the Egyptology or ancient Egyptian schools. And we pretty much covered everything. And he concluded all of those with the revelations that he received called the Holy Tablets, which was prophesied by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad of the Nation of Islam. And so after that completion, he was like, I'm ready to give you what I came to give you, because he came to give us Wu-Sabat, Wu-Nwap, and many people were still in the mindset of religion. And so what he had to do was put Wu-Sabat as in its full, pristine way he wanted to teach us. He put it aside, but throughout the school of religion, he still had it embedded within the various schools. So even when we were going through the schools of religion, the the symbols we had, like the Ankh in the middle of the crescent and the six-pointed star. And many people had it confused with when they looked at the six-pointed star, because if you look at it, you may just see two triangles or two pyramids. But if you look closely, you will see that there are actually, let me see if I can draw it for those in the class. There are actually more than two pyramids. So let me just do that quickly. So most people will only see the two major pyramids, but if you look here, these are also pyramids, right? Anyway, and we had the Ankh in the middle, which tied us back to ancient Tamaray, what most people call Egypt. And so he was like, he spent 30 years from the year 1970 when the seventh seal were officially opened or broken. When we say the seventh seal, some people may not be familiar with that, but in religion, you know, like Daniel had a vision, and he was told to seal it and put it away until the right time, when one that was worthy would come along to break that seal. And from that point, the world would receive nothing but actual facts and truth. And so in religion, this was interpreted as, when the truth comes, all falsehood or false things shall perish. Unfortunately, a lot of people, a lot of people thought it was going to come through their religion. So they were all expecting, they weren't expecting a dark-skinned Melanite person, in other words, right? So when he came along, he received a lot of, you know, people just basically saying he's not who he is. But he said over time, the whole world will get to know and come to realize who he is by way of the works that he would do. And so that's what he did. And over the time we had, you know, that the Orthodox Sunni Muslims, you know, fighting, saying that everything he's teaching is not right, but he proved it all the way through by basically making himself available for anyone to come and question him and prove anything that he's teaching wrong. The same thing happened with the different schools of religion, the Hebrew Israelites, the Israeli Church, Nation of Islam, name it. Everyone that was skeptical, wasn't able to answer any question, and the best they could do was the Arabs, Saudi Arabians. They funded a Negro called Bilal Phillips, who was a Sunni Muslim, to write a book to try and discredit master teacher. But it didn't work, because the master wrote another book called The Rebuttal to the Slanderers. And yeah, and no one's really heard of Bilal Phillips ever since, to be honest. In addition, he put out books called 360 Questions to address the religions. So he had 360 questions for the Israeli church, 360 questions for the Hebrew Israelites, 360 questions for the Sunni Muslims, the Orthodox Sunni Muslims, and they weren't able to answer those questions. And he obviously answered every single one to prove his divinity. So fast forward 30 years from the year 1970 to the year 2000, he was like, I'm going to start giving you what I came to give. So the phrase you hear a lot of people use was him saying, I came giving you what you want, so you would learn to want what I have to give. And from the year 2000, he started to give us, prior to the year 2000, he started to give us right knowledge, right wisdom, right understanding, which was the, you know, the flavor of Wu-Sabat. And in the year 2000, he was like, the devil's time's up, because they were given 6,000 years to have dominion over the planet. And that would have been from 4,000, say 4004, or we round it off to say 4,000 AD. Sorry, BC, because we're counting backwards, 2000 from AD going backwards. So round it off to 6,000 years. and it was like their time is up, it's our time, and we're gonna have to just he's gonna have to just give us pure truth no matter what now, and that's what he's been doing since. And coincidentally, 2 years later, 2002, he got kidnapped. They kidnapped him and incarcerated him, and we have been fighting ever since to prove his innocence and to get him released for the wrongful incarceration and which is a kidnapping basically. So from our worldwide website, you will have access to the various bookstores worldwide. Our bookstores are kind of like the best way for you to integrate because we have a center, which at the moment is in New York. Prior to that, the center was in Georgia, but it got moved to New York. And everyone else is like a satellite and we all work together. So if you're in the UK, as you guys are, we are the store right now in the UK where you will plug in. And but we all connected and we all work together. And the one thing that Founder Babianun, the master teacher, Dr. Malachi Z. York, a name that most people are familiar with him, he has always said the one thing that will free him is our love and our unity. And he's known by, names when we were going through the different schools, such as Imam Isa al-Hadi, when he was through the schools of religion. Sorry. Okay. If you would mute your mic, Mayors, unless you have a question, please mute your mic unless you're ready to speak and ask a question. So he's known as Rabboni Yashua Ba al-Hadi when we were going through the school of, the Judaism and the Hebrew schools. Rabboni, obviously, is a rabbi, means a teacher. Imam Isa, Imam means one that is up front, who leads in the congregation. Known by many names. All right, so just building a bit of a background and a summary for newcomers. So our website here in the UK, again, if you want to plug in and get scrolls, get involved with the family. Newcomers, we ask everyone to join the Telegram group. The Telegram group is because it's one place where you get access to all the everything that's happening up to date, all the links and the books, and you can get your questions answered as well. You can plug into your local jurisdiction, go to the bookstores, because there's nothing on the planet right now that can even come close to Wu-Sabat or Barnabab Danun as the master teacher. And it's our job as student teachers to spread the word. And for everyone and anyone who would like to learn and know and get involved with Wu-Sabat, all you have to do is be sincere in terms of wanting to know the truth. Wu-Sabat is the fastest growing world peace movement, right? Because that's what it's about. We're in a day and time where it's all about truth. That's the currency. That's what everybody wants. And our job is to spread that so that we can get it out to as many people as possible. Right. Let me make my brothers, Sakam Sanan, moderator. Okay. So today's topic. Before I go on to the topic, are there any questions based on the introduction of who we are, who the master teacher is, what is Wu-Sabat, etc.? If anyone wants to ask a question on kind of like that topic. I see a hand.
Hello?
Yeah, Lee, go ahead.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, I am.
Hi, everybody. I've been following you guys for a while now. I think I've watched every YouTube video, every class, everything. But
Great.
I can't understand the connection between Wusabat and the Bible.
Okay, right. Is that your question?
Yeah, that's my question. Can you connect the two for me? Why is it that you use the Bible as reference sometimes? I don't understand.
Okay. Let me just make
Thank
it
you.
come through the speakers. Right. Can you hear me still?
Yes, I can hear you.
Perfect. All right. So it's a quite simple answer. Um, Many people that come into Wu-Sabat or hear about Wu-Sabat for the first time
Mm-hmm.
generally have a background. I'm trying to turn the volume down a bit. They generally have the background of coming from a religion, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
One of the three monotheistic religions, um, Christianity, Islam, or Judaism. And because the way the master teacher teaches is he has a formula, and the same formula that got you spellbound, which was religion, is the same formula he uses to reverse the process. So when we go out to teach or when we start to talk about Wu-Sabat, because Wu-Sabat is ours, it's original, and there's no one else on the planet who can define or break down what Wu-Sabat is or Wu-Nawat. So
Mm-hmm.
it means that we are the authority on that. So whenever anyone else um, comes from a religious background, because that was something that was given to our people and it was part of the way we were controlled, they would generally come by way of religion. So, because if you say, I'm a Christian, everyone knows what that is because that was actually given to us. If you say I'm a Muslim, they know what that is. If you say I'm a, Israelite, a Jew, whatever, everybody knows what that is. So if you say I'm a Sabian or Nuwapian, they're like, what? So the reason we use the Bible, to get straight to your question, is because in order for you to take it away from someone, you have to know how to use it to break the spell. Because if they are used to say, like Christianity is very simple. It's about there's a being, he created two people, Adam and Eve, then they go through the New Testament to Old Testament to the New Testament, and they're waiting for someone to come and save them, known as Jesus. So you have to be able to take them through the Bible and show them where the mistakes are. And because we walk through that process, we are able to answer everyone's questions and show them the mistakes, show them the lies, show them how they were spellbound. And that's why we use the Bible, not because we accept it or know that is, we know there's probably about 5%, maximum 10% truth in the whole book. But that was done intentionally to make it seem authentic because that 5 or 10% is things that have been taken from our true way of life, our ancestors, like Egypt, etc., which has been tied into the Bible to make it seem like it's real because someone can actually go to Egypt today and see like the pyramids and see things that were there. So they will be like, oh, reading the Bible and hearing stories like Jesus going to Egypt, hearing things like Joseph went to Egypt and everyone going to Egypt, it kind of makes
Mm-hmm.
it like it's real. So we use the Bible to help people come out of it and not to stay in it. Does
Okay,
that?
so
So go
yeah,
ahead.
I get what you're saying, but the confusion comes in when you would use okay, at least the 5 or the 10% from the Bible to draw reference. So in other words, it would just go to prove that there is some form of truth in the Bible. That's what would happen to anybody's brain.
Okay,
Do you
but if I
understand?
if I show you 90% lies and then the 5% truth, the 90% still overpowers the 5 or 10%.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, when you're already brainwashed and then you're going to show me some truth in there, then I think that's where the confusion comes in. You understand?
Okay, but what I'm saying is we have a formula that works and that we have used and given to us by the master teacher because if you just kind of just like completely tell someone the Bible is wrong, but you can't show them how it's wrong, they're not likely to actually listen to you. You have to be able to show them why it's wrong. You can't just say to someone, "Come and follow me," forget what you're doing, and they're just going to follow you. Because in order for them to live and listen to what you're saying, you have to show them why it's wrong. And we can do that very quickly and very simply from the cover of the Bible, from the very cover all the way to the last book. And if you show somebody the truth and show somebody the lies, and they still choose to follow the lies, then that's up to them. But at least you've done your job in showing them the truth.
Yeah, but second, do you understand what I'm saying? It's hard when you've been okay, we could use the word brainwashed to believe that the Bible is a total book of truth. When you've been bred and when you've been bred with the Bible to believe that it's all truth, to actually confront somebody and say, okay, it's not total truth, it's 90%, it's only 5 to 10% truth, and it's 90% wrong. That's going to be so difficult because
Okay,
huh,
I don't want to dwell on it and spend too much time on it. So what are you really asking us? You've asked why we use the
because
Bible.
often, I'll tell you why. Because often enough, okay, once or twice, a few times I've listened to Dr. York, and he preaches a lot from the Bible.
Right.
And also, he would,
When you say you listen to Dr. York, what you're saying is you're listening to old recordings of Dr. York from over 20 years ago, because he's been incarcerated now for over 21 years. So nothing new is on the internet that you're listening to from him, right? In
Mhm.
the last 21 years. So what you're listening to is when he was taking us through the schools of religion. And he had to do that to show people that, like I said, like he had to use religion to bring us out of it. And so what most people are listening to are recordings going back, as I said, from 1970 up until the year 2000, 2002. From
Okay.
2002, during his incarceration till now, he has been giving us the actual facts, the master secrets, the Partarot,
Oh, okay.
which are all the new information in the hereafter, which is what he came to give us. Now,
Okay.
the old information, I mean, he made a request. He even said we should take them down, but they're so valuable. And once something's on the internet, it's worldwide, and it's very hard for you to kind of stop it, expanding and growing all over the place. So
Mhm.
he said that because, like, he's moved away from religion. But when you're new and you hear him breaking down something like you've never heard before, and the way he teaches, nobody teaches like him. So you will still get value from it. And we still get questions from people based on the books and religion, because one of our problems, this is why we're in the condition that we're in, is letting it go. And we're trying our best to say, we keep saying it to everyone. We keep saying, just focus on the hereafter doctrine, because this is what he came to give. But people keep asking questions about religion and keep
Oh,
asking about it and about, Islam, Christianity, Judaism, and asking all these questions about different people that are on the internet that are regurgitating a lot of the information that Dr. York actually taught many, many years ago. And most people weren't aware that he is the source until we had to start coming out and saying to people, look, all these people out there that you may be listening to, they're not the guide for this day and time. They can't take you as far as Dr. York, Pana Babyanun can. And some of them are just using it for their own ego and their own purposes, and for financial gains and things like that.
yeah.
But the thing is that the information still needs to go out. Well, I got 3 hands up on Zoom. So yeah, if you would like, I mean, everyone's at different stages in their development and their growth. Some people don't even talk about the Bible at all. They don't even reference it. They don't want to know anything about it. But unfortunately, you've got people that are still in it, and they don't want to let it go until you convince them and show them that It's not their for their,
Yeah,
it's not their
yeah,
salvation. Yeah,
yeah. But second, what happens is sometimes I listen to you, and to draw the point home, you would reference the Bible.
yeah. Okay.
So that's
Let me
confusing.
give you an example, a simple example. Most people are under the illusion that there's a being called God if they're coming from a religious background, or Allah or Yahweh or whatever name they've come across, that is in a place called heaven, sitting on a throne, and that he has all these beings called angels around him that come to the planet and go back. We come to the realization and we say to them, that's all fake, that's not real. What you're dealing with is extraterrestrial, right? Now, if you're someone who has only been in religion all your life, you might think, what the hell is an extraterrestrial? And the word that most people associate with extraterrestrials is aliens. And the media has given you what they say are aliens. So I'm saying, like, if you're speaking to someone who is completely unaware of what they're calling aliens or extraterrestrials, you then have to show them in the Bible that, okay, if this being is in a place called heaven, this is how you have to do it slowly. Where is heaven? Where is heaven? They're going to tell you it's up there. And like they have no clue where up there is. And
Yeah.
in their mind, it's a place that doesn't really exist. So you
Yeah.
have to say to them, well, if you look up, you're going to see clouds. And if you go beyond the planet, you're going to see different stars. You're going to see different constellations. You're going to see different star systems. And then you break down how these beings are able to come here and go back. You see, I'm just giving you a very simple example where,
Yeah, it's not difficult for me because what you guys are teaching resonates much better with my spirit. I left religion a long time ago. From the time I was 16, I left religion. So whatever you are teaching resonates with my spirit. But what
right,
I'm saying is difficult to try to really explain that to anybody else who's not been
okay,
thinking the way that I've been thinking.
okay. The thing is, unfortunately, not to be disrespectful,
Hmm.
we are the one administering the medicine, and we have to administer it in the best way that we've been taught. And that's how the master teacher did it. And so, I would say focus on yourself and let other people who are at different levels, let them get through whatever they need to get through. And that may be them asking all the questions they need to ask about religion to the point where they can see it and they'll be like, okay,
Yeah, yeah,
well,
but
I'm
I
ready to
just
move on.
needed, yeah, I just needed to actually put the pieces together as to why you were using the Bible. That's it for
Okay,
me.
no
Okay,
problem.
thank
We use everything. We don't just use the Bible. This is the point. Like, we would use the Quran, we would use pretty much anything that people have been exposed to, but we bring them away from it and give them the actual facts and give them the truth as opposed to, the lies or the beliefs. All right.
okay.
Hope that's
All
helped.
right, thank you.
You're welcome. Right. Who's next? Nalita?
Yes, thank you. I'm from Canada and I tried the number online to contact. It is not in service. Can you give me another number of where I can contact for a support group or just to connect with other people?
Sorry, I missed the first part of your question. Could you repeat that?
I'm in Canada. I live in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
The number online through the website is not in service. Is
All
there
right.
another number?
Which website are you talking about?
Oh, I think it was Nashat.
Okay. Are you on? You're on Zoom right now, right?
I am.
Somebody will post it in the chat for you,
Thank you.
and the Telegram link will also be posted in the chat. All right.
Okay. So there's no contact maybe in Canada.
Okay. I think you might have missed the introduction, but on our
Oh,
official website, if you go to, I'm about to do it so you can see. If you go to contact and look at where it says bookstores, it will show you all the locations that are available. So, and if there isn't somewhere close to you, then you have to look at the nearest one. So can you see? Yeah, there's Canada right there.
Correct. This is where I went, and the number that is
Oh,
on
right.
this
That's the
website.
number you're saying it's
Correct.
not. Right. Okay. Yeah, if you leave your details in the chat, we'll contact you and give you the correct information.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, look at the chat. Anyone else? Any more questions before we move on? Nalita, you still got your hand up. I don't know if you have another question. Right, so when you ask a question, you can just lower your hand once you finish. All right, cool. Let's have a look at the chat. Okay, the information has been posted for you. Okay, right. So the topic for today is Wu-Sabat, UK at Nishat. What's really going on Earth? What's going on? And anyone? What's going on? What's going on Earth? You're just here. There's a lot been going on. There's a lot going on. I mean, did you not watch the inauguration of Mr. Trump? Anyone? Yes? What did you think of it? No one.
I saw clips on Twitter.
Okay. If anyone's going to speak in the class, if you could please use the mic so the people online can hear you. There's a lot going on. You got President Trump just been sworn in. You got the wars going on. The wars going on in Russia and Ukraine and Gaza and Israel, Palestine. I'm just trying to find the class. So none of that bothering anyone? Well, everyone's going on like everything's rosy. Elon Musk, robots. No one's concerned about any of this. Oh, okay, this is interesting. Well, there's a lot going on, and we have to recognize that the master teacher. Okay, could someone give them the mic, please? If you guys can help each other pass the mic around, that would be helpful. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. It was already on. Okay. All right, hold on. Go on.
I kind of saw Elon Musk's speech, and I think he was doing the
Oh, someone's awake. That's good to know. Yeah, go on.
Something interesting.
Yeah. So what did you think about that?
I'm too new to this. A lot of this information. I'm too new to this.
Okay.
What's going on? I've been to a few classes about who Donald Trump really is. And yeah, so it's starting to see certain signs and certain things to keep on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but you mentioned the Nazis time. What does that mean? Okay. What is Nazi?
Hitler.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about Hitler? I'm not trying. I'm just trying to get interaction and get your feeling on, because there is a lot going on, and we as a people are very uninformed and just laid back, and that's why Wu-Sabat is here. And this is a Telegram group, by the way. OSM Wu-Sabat, ask us anything. If you haven't joined already, join this Telegram group, because there's a lot of questions that people ask, as you can see me scrolling through. All right, so
Is it okay to answer your question?
yeah, of course, that's why I'm here.
To answer your previous question, who is Hitler? I
Yeah.
believe Hitler is a guy.
Yeah.
He had a vision of what he wanted people to look like and wanted people to be, and anybody who didn't fit that description
Yeah.
was set to the side.
Set to on.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Set to the side.
Right. For newcomers, you have to quickly get the "I believe" out of your vocabulary system, yeah? Because belief it means we don't know, right? And so I'm not having a go at you. I'm just saying, like, people in religion will always say, "I believe, I believe," and the belief is based on not knowing. That's what the word means, right? So when you know about Hitler's story, Hitler was someone that was in contact with beings there known as the Ashtar Command or the Ashtar Federation. These are a group of extraterrestrials. And they, all right, so you got Germany, and then you had a different part of what Hitler belonged to, which was the Third Reich, yeah? Now, he was in contact with a witch called Madame Blavatsky. She's like a medium, right? And these extraterrestrials, they used her as a contact between them and Hitler. And these Ashtar Federation, they look blonde hair, blue eyes. Right? Let me see if I can pull them up. They were basically like a lot of extraterrestrial. They tried to pass themselves off as what people are referring to as God, right? And they had an agenda, and they're also Pleiadians. That's what they look like. This is what they look like, yeah, for those who can see my screen. And this is Ashtar Sharon, who was their leader. And he gave Hitler the information that he can create a supreme race known as the Aryan race. And at the time, in terms of like the Jews, Hitler looked at them and saw them as basically it didn't subscribe to religion, and he wanted to get rid of them because of that, and try and create this supreme race to take over the world. And this is how the World War started. Like you had the First World War, Second World War, which basically brought about a lot of destruction, with millions of people getting killed as the war progressed, because a world war means that everyone gets involved. Yeah, so America got involved, and they were trying to stop Hitler. Europe got involved because you have countries that have alliances with other countries. So if America has the UK as its ally, if they go to war, Britain's going to go to war. And this is what kind of happened. And Hitler was going through and almost taking control over the world. And America then dropped atomic weapons, right? In that day and time, atomic weapons using like that type of bomb. There's actually there's a Netflix movie talking about the guy that worked on this bomb, and they dropped this bomb on Nagasaki and Hiroshima, right, and killed millions of people. And so I'm just trying to see if I can pull it up. And so, yeah, there you go. This movie here called Oppenheimer. If you haven't seen this already, that is a great movie that explains that whole journey from them developing and using alien technology to develop this bomb, right? And you see when it goes off, it creates that big kind of like mushroom cloud, right? Go and watch this movie. But anyway, we're now back at that point where there are tensions with people saying we could be going into World War III right now, because you got the different, you got, like I said, Russia, tensions between Russia and America, because everyone's saying that President Putin was wrong to attack Ukraine, but they don't see what is going on strategically, how different countries are moving in terms of putting their like military bases in certain places, right? And the master teacher, Partner Babylon, has been teaching us and telling us about many things to come. As I put in the, I had it, but yeah, here we go. As I put in the description of this class, you got LA fires going on, right? I'm sure you all been seeing the fires, okay? You got drones, OBS, ETs going on. Trump's inauguration, because he's like, you know, he's a major player. We're going to talk about some of this stuff. You've got Israel, Palestine, Gaza, yeah? They've just done a ceasefire. You've got China, and all of the stuff that we're talking about, the master teacher has taught us about this stuff. Everything that he has said that's going to happen, happens. And that's since the 60s till today. Many years ago, he would say something's going to happen years later, like the year 2000, what to expect. And then when the year 2000 came, everything he said was in the book. Now, it doesn't take years. It literally takes weeks when he says this is going to happen. Like he told us on June the 30th, 2024, about the fires that are going on in LA right now. He actually mentioned it in an update saying that there will be cyclones of fire that are going to rip through America. And it's just started. There's more to come. The war thing, obviously, is very serious. He said that they're changing laws, right? America and certain governments, they're now changing many laws behind the scenes so that when war kicks off, you can be drafted into going to war, and there's nothing you're going to be able to say you can't go. I don't know if you remember back when World War I and II was going on, the person most known as Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay at the time, right? World heavyweight boxer champion. He didn't want to go to war. And I'm saying that the way they're doing it now, young people can be drafted to go to war, and you're not going to be able to say no because you get put in prison or whatever. These are the things that are going on. So the drones, you know, we've explained and spoken about what people are calling drones, the actual, well, there are real extraterrestrials, yeah, that are now showing themselves. And many people are citing crafts, are seeing these extraterrestrials. Crafts, beings, it's becoming more obvious. You got the inauguration of Trump was actually really, really interesting because of the people that were there and the rituals and everything. But if your mind and your eyes are not open, you may not notice and see certain things. Okay. Like I said, he had Elon Musk there, billionaires. He had so many billionaires around. He had, what's his name? Facebook guy. What's his name? Zuckerberg, thank you. He had Jeff Bezos, Amazon guy. He had the people that support Joe Rogan. And many things are taking place, but it's our time. From the year 2000, their time has been up. They've had their 6,000 years. And we're supposed to be like not afraid, standing up and doing what we're supposed to do. Number one, get the master teacher out because he knows the way. There's certain things that are taking place and are going to happen that without him, going to be peak for us, really. So the information, the knowledge is about you waking up, forgetting about all these religions and this person and that person, because there's no one on the planet right now that knows the way or has the information than Parnabad Yanun. And this is what our classes are about. Our class is about getting the truth out there, waking people up. So you need to do what you need to do to become the supreme being that you're supposed to be. And one of the biggest problems with us is fear. People are afraid to be themselves. And that's something we've got to break out of quick. So I've touched on a few things: LA fires, drones, orbs, ETs, Trump's inauguration. I've talked about what's going on. And the master teacher spoke about all of these things in the sense of like the different countries. Remember, he put out these books, the Leviathan books, right? He put these books out many years ago for us to know what's about to come. And these books go back to the 90s. And the person you see right there is Donald Trump. You can pass it around to him and then give it back. Don't steal them. These books are hard to come by. But I'm just saying, there's so much going on. So he was talking about like Gog and Magog, talking about America. Those people on the front are like the heads of states of these countries. Yeah, so there's a lot at play. We need to get ourselves together. We are, the way the master teacher looks at us, based on the information that he has taught us over these last 50 plus years, we're supposed to not be in the condition and the position we're in now. We're still kind of like waiting for someone to come and save you, still caught up in religion. We haven't got financially, we're not ready. Businesses, many things you're supposed to be able to do now. Your powers, your higher senses, you're supposed to be like, tapping into all of that right now. So if you can pass them back to me, please. So we're here to answer questions, to clarify anything you need to know. So that's the Leviathan books. You've got this one, the Luciferian conspiracy. Yeah. Because when people hear the word Lucifer, Luciferian conspiracy, you can see many symbols along here. That word Lucifer, but it's not just one person, orders. Much information regarding what the plans are for those who are not going to make this dimensional shift, raise up in consciousness. So that's why I'm here today, to talk about what's really going on the planet. Go ahead, brother. Can someone give him the mic?
I've got a couple of questions that can tie in together.
Go ahead. Mm-hmm. You can ask question on anything, but I'm just saying that's just the topic I've got for today. You can ask questions on anything. Go ahead, brother.
Regarding the master teacher,
yeah,
you're here to lead the black people forward. I understand. Why do you not establish yourself like in Africa where there's more black people there? And also like I understand you talk about how like English is almost like a spell language.
Yeah.
And some of these books, I'm from Africa, Zimbabwe. English is not my first language.
Yeah.
If I was to read some of these information in my own language, I would get a spot of people more understanding, even people like my parents.
Yeah.
And other people like me. You can't seem to find this information, like Zulu, the Bele, Shona, where I come from.
Yeah.
You don't have to. Why do you make that accessible, especially if it's
I got you. Yeah. Number one, he's not here just for black people. We're not even black people. That's the problem. Right? This is why we're here and I know when you're new, you're going to use the terms you're familiar with, yeah? But we're really Musbatu or Sadians or Nuwapians. That's what we are. Of course, most of us have been taught we're black people. But if you look at yourself, you're not even black. That's a fact. If you look at your skin, you're brown, yeah? And like, this is black, this is not black. So we're not black people. The term black, when it relates to us, is dealing with a state of mind known as supreme balance, because all colors combined are going to give you black. So black is not really a color, it's a state. And you know that because even in the religious world, they told you that God created the light. So before there was light, it was just darkness, and God dwelled in darkness, right? Because that's where the real intelligence is. This is why light is referred to as chaos, because light brings about different things that you start to see. Whereas if it was pitch black in this room right now, it was just dark, you wouldn't be able to differentiate different people's colors or hairs or sizes and all of that. Your mind will start to look at and judge people. So what we're basically saying is that that state of darkness or supreme balance is where your mind should be at. And then from that, obviously the light was birthed. But light relates to, as I was saying, the light bearer, who is Lucifer. And this is why the whole racism thing comes from this black and white and dark and people having different colors, yeah, because they will tell you white is right and white is good and black is bad. And if you start to study that, you see like all the negative connotations, like blackballing, you know what I mean? Like all the bad characters in the movies will wear black. Yeah. I'm just trying to show you how we have to break the spell when we say things. Yeah. When you say, why didn't you do it in Africa? This is worldwide. But if you study the prophecies, it was said that one will come from the east onto the west to basically find us, wake us up, and we will go back home. And because we are sun people, and Africa is where you're going to get the most sun. And right now, Africa is the next frontier. All the minerals, all the resources that make this Western world wealthy is all in Africa. So we are working our way back that way. But we have a lot of people to save and to reach before making that migration and exodus. And the fact that we are still caught up in the West is partly the problem why we're suffering, because most people are living in what we call the image of the beast, right? Meaning that we don't know our culture. If I look around the room, only two of us in here dressed in our cultural attire. Our mind is still messed up because we have to get rid of the sixth ether thinking, and the DNA of sixth ether is in our genetics now. And this is why we don't know how to unite and come together. So this is all the things we have to do to get back. Now, the question about the books being in different languages, that shows you how much work we've got to do. Because if I said, would you be in a position or willing to translate books from English into your language? Would you do it? Right. So we need people from different countries, different languages to translate the books. The master was doing that anyway. Many books were translated into like, Spanish and English, French and so on. So that's something that needs to be done, and we're working at that. But for us to build the way we need to build, as we did in ancient times where we built the pyramids and so forth, and we built Tamaray, Egypt of the West. You can again, you can just Google that and see what we've already done. But the master said that was, again, people say blueprint, but we say black print of what is to come. So we have a lot of work to do to get the truth out, to rebuild. And so I don't know if that's answered your question, but there's still work ongoing. It's not over. Go ahead.
I understood, yeah. You'd answered most of my question. I understand what you said about what written, one will come from the east to the west,
yeah.
Which is fine about.
Yeah.
So I understand that. I was just thinking, why wouldn't it make more sense where Africa has got a more.
No, you know why? Because no, I hear you, but when it comes to no, you're right, but they are waking up. A lot of people in Africa are waking up because of Wu-Sabat now. But a lot of us have got skills that we've acquired here. Like many people have gone to university. So it's about taking those skills to help build. And the master teacher knows what he's doing. And this is another thing that sometimes we like to say, well, why didn't he do this? Or why doesn't he do that? Or how, but he knows what he's doing. He knows the best plan for the best outcome. And one of the problems with us is we still think in sixth ether. One of the things we're supposed to be able to do is follow basic instructions to get yourself to be who you're supposed to be, so that you can then you be the best person in terms of the plan or the strategy of things that are being done. You see, like read the books. Many people, that simple basic instruction, like read the books, they don't do it. They're used to now videos and just waiting for like us to put out a video. They're not really studying or reading. And when you read, a lot of things become clear, because student teachers have to read the books to be able to answer your questions. So everyone has to study and read. But what you're getting from us is a snippet of what you will get from directly from the master. And the books are designed in a particular way to help you recalibrate you as a being, to trigger certain DNA within you that will make you realize who you are. And then you start to basically see your powers. But it takes work. This is not religion where you get dipped in water when they say, oh, you're born again, and that's it. And then you just go back to living the same life you were living prior to that. You know, this is about you tapping into the real you and working, getting involved, like you say, to build. There's so much work to be done. And our power is in our unity. And that's the test that we have to pass. People don't realize that him being incarcerated is not really about him. It's about us, to see whether or not we have learned what he has come to teach us. Everyone wants someone else to do the work, but you have to do your part. It's not about just sitting at home, tuning in, listening to videos. You have to transform yourself inside out. We are very powerful people, and our power is in our unity. Everyone else can join in, but this is really about us. This is our time. It's our time. We're the teachers of the next 24,000 years. We're the ones that everyone's looking to and relying on. And a lot of people are having a hard time taking on that God or goddess shit. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, I'm here to clear things up. So that's why you have to ask questions, because you're sitting there thinking it's just you, but it's not. It's your whole family, your generations, the beings that have passed on, your great parents, great grandparents, and people that are tied. You are the last. Well, I won't say the last, but like in this day and time, you're the representation for your whole family and lineage, and you have a huge responsibility to basically make it and be, because some of them may even be trapped on the other realms on the other side, and they're working through you to make sure that you help them as well as help yourself and help many people. Because as I said, the day and time we're living in, it's going to get peak, and we have to come together. And the master said, if you're by yourself, you're easy pickings. You know, and the laws that they're bringing in and the new changes, digital currency. I mean, there's many things we can talk about, and that's starting this year. And that's why we needed to have this conversation, talk about the dimensional shift, I mean, all these books, they cover everything you need to know to prepare. Go ahead, brother.
Is there a time frame for us to assemble ourselves in?
You see this? Do you know what this is? Can you see all of it from where you are? This is called the hourglass. Yeah, it's symbolic of the hourglass. You know, when you have sand and you turn it over, the time has run out. There is no time. That's what I'm saying. It's getting peaked. That's why I'm doing this class, because we like to have a time. So if you say to someone, get ready by next week, they ain't gonna do nothing till next week. That's how we are being programmed. We've run out of time. The time we had from 1970, we had 30 years to the year 2000. And we've got another 30 years from the year 2000 to 2030. And now we've only got 5 years left to get certain things in place. But even then, we don't have to wait. We need to do everything now. Yeah, because if you're relying on somebody else for whatever, like your food, how you live, whatever, then you're at their mercy. So going back to the Hi Hitler, right? If you notice and you studied what's going on, you see that Donald Trump's rally was in Madison Square, right? Which was the same place Hitler had his rally. And now you've got the people that are behind Trump giving Nazi signs. As you were saying, Hitler was about what? The main thing you hear about is the Holocaust, like how the gas chambers where Hitler was just wiping out people. And we're back at that stage now, it seems. And if you're not careful, if we're not careful, if we don't get our act together and do the things we need to do, we're going right back into that, because wars can kick off at any point now. In fact, many things in this scroll by the master teacher called the 9, he already told, again, that remember, when we tell you things, like everything he says comes to pass, without a doubt. And I'm talking about since the 1960s till now. Yeah, in there he talks about a meteorite's gonna hit. And a lot of people, like at the beginning of the class, I was like, what's going on? Everyone was just like, until I started to name the fires and the drones and the ETs and all that's going on. You're supposed to be raising yourself to a point where you get your barothry gland replaced. Some people might be like, what is that? That's what made you like forget who you really are. And I'm not here to scare you and like doomsday and all of that, but this is reality. Things are coming, and you have to learn and know how to survive and get out of it, as he says, get away from, go back to Africa. The reason we're still in the situation is because a lot of us are so into the system. We like literally living in the image of the beast. And if you think about it, if I was going to take a shot, you must have seen movies where someone grabs a hostage. What's the hostage? The shield, right? They're like this, isn't it? Backing out, because if I take a shot, I can't. I have to take a clean shot. We are in the way because we're so embedded in the system. We just like walking dead, most people. Still waiting for someone to come and save you. And the master says that the helping hand you're looking for is at the end of your own arm. It might be overwhelming, but you just start with the first basic steps. That's most people come across this information and it triggers them. And that's something called a DNA explosion that makes you realize, wow, I've been in the Matrix. You lot have seen the movie The Matrix, right? You lot got these blank faces, man. Like, I don't know what's going on. It's like, are you scared? It's not making sense, or what's going on? Talk to me, because we have to get what's on our mind out. Ask questions, like really get to, because you're here today for a reason, or you lot just come for entertainment. I play the piano for you lot. No, for real, like you're here, and that's those on Clubhouse and on Zoom as well. You're here to ask questions to make things clear in your head so that you realize what we're up against. All right, let's have a prayer since everyone wants. I'm gonna do a prayer. And someone's gonna ask me, I thought we're not religious. We're not. But until you ask a question, I'm gonna share some things from the master teacher, and maybe that might trigger something in you. Right, it says, let us pray. This is from the 9, page 8, and it's called Nuapians, Let Us Pray. There we go. I'm gonna yeah, I will say, I said Miss Batir then. Muslafu nunnun, yake athir jawef, yakas at nunnun. As goinun, la me annun, namuz, at furnun, la he, hamul amtkum, wu nasuir lahei, daut amtkum, lame annun, hajuja, nasur, wu gahul amtkum, kafir shalel haye at nun. English. Our ancestors who are inside of our own genes, hear us when we pray. Forgive us for neglecting you all and forgetting to call you all when we needed help and ignoring you all most of our lives. Annun talub, gafir nuskum, annun darur laye amtkum lahe tasyun wu adayan. We seek you all's forgiveness. We turn towards you all for protection and guidance. Faye satat sayun wu hadoirnun, kalul yawel zamut at, wu wakut at, asyon shabat nun, wu yasar shalel munwaku. So please protect and guide us during these days and times. Protect our tribe and our family of Nuwapians. Anun namuz amtkum, namuz mane, ay babat nun wu annun tawu amtkum lahe rasul wu nazul ya nani. We implore you all, praying from our hearts, and we thank you all for sending down and incarnating Yanun. Pa nabab mulgan ur wul muntar u laheinun jawef pa shakas la duda zamanun annun daror laye amtkum karer Mada'at, the master teacher and warner for us. Inside the person born amongst us, we turn towards you all with praises. Atumre, atumre, atunre, atunre, amunre, amunre. Sawab kawun sawab. Truth is truth. All right, so that is really asking our ancestors and letting them know that we've neglected them and we're now back in tune with our ancestors and they are within you in your DNA and your genes. You have a question? All right, could you use the mic, please?
I was going to ask to ancestors.
Tua. That means yes, yeah.
Why do we pray to our ancestors and what like ancestors do? Like, you know, like I could say like my great grandma.
Yeah.
Is an ancestor.
Yeah. All right. I guess you have to define what prayer is. Prayer is really communication. Yeah, but in religion, they make it sound like you can only pray to the God. And when you hear what people are calling prayer, they're literally begging for something. Like, oh, God, help me get this and that for me, yeah? So really what you're doing is communicating with your ancestors within yourself, within your DNA, because you and them are connected. So it's not like we're praying to some external being. You're kind of connecting with them by way of your DNA and your genes. So it's kind of like, in a way, you're talking to yourself and they are with you so they can speak through you as well and they can guide you. And what it is that we've been taught to call on somebody else's family. So most religions will teach you to call on, say, Jesus, who's like a Caucasian, who is dealing with the Romans and the Europeans and the Greeks. And if you go into Islam, they teach you to call on, you know, Muhammad and their ancestors. Everyone else communicates and speaks to people in their race, and we don't. So we've cut them off, and that's why it doesn't work for us. And so we're calling on someone that doesn't really care about you and won't even listen to you or basically come to your assistance. Whilst your ancestors, they know you and they will come to your aid if you connect with them.
And also, and why are we asking for forgiveness?
Well, okay, I mean, like, if you haven't done something, it's like, okay, it's like if you do something wrong to someone, what would you do? Wouldn't you say sorry if you know you're in the wrong? Yeah, it's the same thing. So we've neglected them. We've not remembered them. It's like we can even take it further to say, as I mentioned before, that people are living in the image of the beast. They don't even want to look themselves. Like they'll bleach their skin, straighten their hair, you know, do their lips, fake BBLs, everything. Like they don't look like who they are. It's like they're not proud to be who they are. And so that's part of the reason. It's like imagine you have a child, but your child doesn't want to be anything like you. They want to like look like someone else, like, and they don't like you because they think, you know, you don't look good or whatever. So it's the same thing that we neglected and we forgot that we should be proud and happy about who and what we are. Yeah, so that's what we're saying. We're saying like we're sorry we kind of like been led astray and now we're coming back and wanna, and then they will help us and be more in tune with us. The brother behind you. Have you finished? Because yeah, okay. Go ahead, brother.
I was here in one of the classes, and one of the student teachers mentioned how non-ether beings were God. And on one of the charts, there's something that said something. One second.
Whilst you're looking for that, we're not God.
Only God accepts Pata.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's no other God except Pata.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we are supreme beings. The term God, although in religion is made, or people think he's so high and so far, it's like God is just a term that was coined by a German word, good. Yeah. And God is just someone that is in control. It's not like as high as being a supreme being. So we are supreme beings. It's just that we've forgotten who we are. So that's what you're trying to get back to. And Ptah is the name. If you know what the word Ptah is, it deals with the being that has been assigned to us. He's the one that's been sent to guide us and to raise us back to being supreme beings again, and to open and like make way for everyone else. Go ahead.
So is the chant saying no other supreme being except Ptah?
Well, because in the chant it uses the word God, it's trying to say to you like, all these gods and other names you use to call on, they're not going to help you. So there is no other one except for Ptah. There's no other God. But as you said, when you start to break down what the word God is, you realize that God is actually not that great a title. So it's not that they're like you're a part of that family. Yeah, you're a supreme being as well. It's just that you just don't have your full capability yet. And that's what Ptah, being the first, is going to open the way and then bring others and show others and raise others. You see, like, you know, like in the movie Planet of the Apes, there has to be one person who finds a way and opens a way and then leads everybody else out. So he will be that first one that spoke. So it's like we're all supreme beings, but he's the highest of those beings, and he's here to help bring you up. Just like in your family right now, if you start to really study Wu-Sabat and turn yourself into a supreme being and learn a lot, then you're going to open the way for the rest of your family or the rest of the people that you then share that information to raise them up. Does that make sense? Yeah. That's why I said at the beginning when I was saying like your ancestors and people are relying on you not to fail. Go ahead.
You know, in this world, like, there's so much going on.
Oh, I've got so many questions on Zoom, but you finish first.
There's so much going on, like what we just touched on in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it gets overwhelming. So where would you start?
Right. That's why I keep saying, like, a lot of the time we try to run before we can walk. Where you would start is what you're doing now, where you're learning and trying to find out what you should do. And we're basically the closest to you in terms of plugging in to get in the books, to come into classes, to get your questions answered. And everyone has the ability to connect with the master teacher on the spiritual level anyway, you see. So your journey starts with you knowing who you are and what your purpose is and what you're here to do. And then the more you study and learn about yourself and you're raising yourself, then if everyone is doing that, we're all raising ourselves collectively and not like you focusing on other people when you're not doing what you're supposed to do. So you have to start with yourself and be amongst family, because most newcomers should realize that people who have been around have walked the road that they're walking on now. So you got to know who and where to go to so that you can be guided, and it's already set out for you. You know, all you have to do is do what you have to do. And that's every day, like, because on the planet, you have seen and unseen. You have many entities that are around that can affect you from what people call the unseen world or the spiritual world. You've got disembodied souls, spirits. You've got beings that don't have bodies. You've got like all kinds of vibrations and frequencies that they're using to affect you. Everything you do, everything you see, everything you touch, everything you put into your mouth, yeah, who you mix with, who you spend time with, all of that affects you. So you have to start learning what is good for my best development and what is not, and start cutting out the crap, stop mixing and doing things with people that are drawing you down, because everything is ultimately energy. And you've got beings that feed off of negative energy, and they will do everything to keep you producing that energy for these disembodied spirits or these extraterrestrials that you may not see them, but they can come in and out of different dimensions or densities. And sometimes people will see them for a bit and then they'll go back. In your sleep, what you call in sleep, you're traveling to different dimensions and doing different things in your spiritual body or your etheric body or your mental, you see. So it's not just about what you see physically. That obviously has a part to play. So you have to study, because most people don't know, they don't know what's really right. That's why they told you in the Bible that, you know, Adam and Eve, we use this because I know people are going to say you're using the Bible again, but these are like basic stories that help to put things across in a very simple way. Yeah, they didn't know, they said until they ate the fruit, right? That's when they knew good from evil, you see, but they were walking around. They could see the tree, they could see so-called serpent that came to Eve, but they didn't know good from evil, meaning that someone was basically like lying to them. And then when they ate the fruit, symbolically, the fruit is knowledge, yeah? And when they knew, they started to know, not believe, they knew good from evil. That's agreeable and disagreeable, or positive and negative, or things that are good for you and things that are bad for you. And once you know that, then you should really stop doing the bad things. Like for example, if you're eating food that are making you sick or going to make you sick, and you find that out, why would you continue to do it? But the discipline has to come in, because it's so easy for people to go, I wanna be the best I can be, but they give up easily. You know, like New Year's resolutions. I'm gonna go to the gym, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. It sounds nice. But after the first few weeks or months, you give up, because you're not really tapping in from the inner you. Like if something is gonna last and it's gonna be beneficial to you, then you stick at it, you see. But most people give up because you have to tap into that inner being and tap into your ancestors, and like the chants protect you. Because people don't realize, when we say read the books, do the chants, stay in that positive mindset, cut out of the crap, it builds a protection around you, because your vibration changes, you see. And you have to deal with energy in everything you do, like harness energy, utilize it, manipulate it, send it, anything you need to do. You just got to be on the right vibration and the right frequency, and you can make it happen. And then anything that cannot vibrate on that frequency will not want to be around you, if that's making sense. It's like, you know, Dr. Sebi and certain people, they've gone into the science of like disease, yeah? If your body is more acidic, it's going to basically attract disease. Whereas more alkaline, it's like you can't be in an environment that is not conducive for you. I always use the example, like if this room was full of smoke, but you didn't smoke and you couldn't breathe, you wouldn't want to stay in the room. That's the similar thing where you are gonna change your vibration, change your mental like mindset and beings that like if you're not on religion, for example, you try and have a conversation or someone who's just on some low vibration stuff, like you sit around them and all they want to talk about is some low vibration stuff. And you're just like, I don't want to be around this. Like they just want to talk about say going partying and just stuff. I'm not saying you can't go to parties, but I'm just saying you've got aspirations and you want to do things and raise yourself and do great things. And they're just talking about EastEnders, for example. And you're like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just trying to give you examples of how you got to know where to be and who to be around and who not to be around. Does that answer the question? All right. I see 3 hands on Zoom. Can I? Sheldon. And then Lee after. Sheldon, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Sorry, 1 second. Just give me 1 second.
No problem. How are we doing on Clubhouse? Okay, so Cam, can you hear me?
Sir, Ken, I'm back.
Okay, go ahead. Sheldon.
So based off everything you spoke about in class, I was just wondering how raising your vibration, following Wu-Sabat to a T, getting rid of all the negative things and negative people in your life and stuff, and just upping your vibration, obviously, and practicing divine love, all of that stuff, and essentially reaching the ninth ether, essentially. How does doing all of that save you from the badness that's about to happen in the future?
Okay, number one, you're not gonna do everything to the T. You can't set expectations that you won't be able to fulfill. We're all a work in progress, so you can only do your best, but obviously aim for the highest. Doing that is, again, this is another thing. Not everything we are doing, we speak in public. Obviously, like you don't show your aces in public, right? So following the basic stuff and you come into the community, there are other parts of the community that you need to get involved with, like the orders. We've got a brotherhood, a sisterhood. We have a young student association. We have the elders association. We have, many other parts where you're instructed and given information that you won't get publicly. And ultimately, we work together to build anything we want and anything we need, and in guidance of the master teacher who will instruct us and tell us, when that time comes, what to do. And then you will be protected by, the forces of 9 Ether and Wu-Sabat.
So essentially you're saying that if I do my best and become the best version of myself, not to a T, not perfect, but I do my best, and I get involved with the brothers and sisters, then you're saying the master teacher will have further instructions for us to save us from the badness that's about to happen. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we get instructions all the time. And we get, just reading the books, you will get a lot of information. But what I'm saying is, a lot of time people want to know step 10 and they haven't accomplished step 1 or step 2 or step 3. And what we're saying is, if you follow the basics, you will develop yourself and you will get to know more. Because what's the alternative? Just to continue doing what you're doing, sit around, follow someone else's, path when they don't really have your best interest at heart. So what we're saying is, remember, the master teacher is here to do a job, and he's doing this job. And the job is follow this, do that. Sorry. Sheldon, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, I'm saying, does that make sense? Is that clear? Or because we have something called the way, right? That's what Patarak is. And in the way, it literally tells you, like, for example, 30 spirits. I'm just going to go through some of them so you can get an idea.
Yeah.
Obviously, the golden children, the Nuapian man. That's what Nuapian men should be doing. If you're not doing that as a Nuapian man, then you're missing out on that. It talks about division, why we're divided and what's causing it, and that how do we come together. Instigators. It tells you about people and things that come and instigate things that, keep us divided. The dimensional shift. It explains what's happening and going on in terms of different dimensions and where we are at. The dimensional shift took place and happened in 2012. The planet Earth is woman. It goes into the woman and what her role is in this day and time, being the original goddess. Creators, fashioners, makers. It goes into who we really are as the beings that are being spoken about when they tell you someone else. The formation. This this is another part of that really goes into detail about how this planet was formed, the different cycles, what took place. Hamseed, that's an Egyptian, like commandments on sexual violations. Wu-Sabat commandments on sexual violations deals with how you deal with relationships and sexual violations and what happens and what you shouldn't do. Black is evil, white is good. It goes into the magic of black magic, white magic, and why they put this spell on you. The argument. The argument talks about why would you argue with somebody that doesn't know? That's a waste of time. So it explains about what different people like in religions and different people that come across us will argue. And it's just like the argument doesn't even make sense because you can just debunk it so quickly. Obviously, we have the language scrolls, Miss Batia, which teaches you your language. You got sex force, spirit force, right? This deals with the sex forces that affect you. Succubus and succubus, these are beings that, will deal with you from a sex force and a spirit force perspective. Soul, spirit deals with your soul, deals with your spirit. Soulmates deals with relationships, how you have a soulmate and what is a soulmate and, what you should be doing to find that soulmate. I've already covered that one. Our tones, wavelength, A, right? This tells you about what tones you should be vibrating on because the A tone is your body, how your body vibrates on a specific frequency. Why is that important? Because the 16th of forces have made sure that the planet is vibrating on a different frequency than what it's supposed to be, which is in tune with you. And because they can't exist on this planet on certain frequencies, they had to make frequencies that mean they could come here. The prism that goes into a lot of science in terms of light and darkness. I can keep going. Diagnosis of the races. This deals with when you look at different races, what they eat and what the effects of the diet and what they eat and how it affects them. Conscious being. You have a being that is a conscious being. You have a subconscious being and you have a super conscious being. Most people don't even know this, so you have to learn about that. Relaxation. You have to know how to relax and what are the things you should do to relax. This one goes in fret, chafe, worry. This talks about, I could read some of these if we get questions that relate, but this shows you how you're literally just relying on somebody else, yeah, that controls everything you do in your life. Like from the time you're born, you need a birth certificate. Then if you want to go to college or go to school or go to work, even when you die, you need a death certificate, you need a passport to travel. They've implemented so many things that basically control you. You've got the mind's eye, because you have an eye or what people call the third eye or your mind. This one goes into you need me, I don't need you. That's part about and talking about this six ether forces that, you know what I mean, that we need him because he can leave tomorrow. He can leave anytime. But if he does, what are we gonna do? Power of the language. The ghost talks about the ghost, right? Because there are many ghosts that affect you and you don't even know it. Parbananu, that talks about crafts and how you would travel intergalactically from here. I can keep going. I want to go through all of them actually, because most people may not have even heard of them. Concentration. How do you concentrate? And what is the purpose of concentration? Which leads into you being able to use your mind to do and achieve anything you want. And that leads to meditation and different aspects of your spiritual practices. The book of memory, right? Helps you understand about your different types of memory, how to retain memory, what happens to your memories when you cross over. The book of divine love. You always hear us talking about divine love. What is divine love? Because there are different types of love. Divine love is unconditional love that deals with a shuk. Yeah, that's the word in our language. You know, there's so many I can go on and on and on. And this is the way or our way, which is the way you're supposed to live. And you've been given the wrong way. So you need to know how to get back on the right way. That's going to make you achieve your purpose and what this one is called hell on earth. This is kind of what we're talking about at the moment. The 24 positions of the 24 elders. In our culture, we have 24 elders that basically govern and help, manage the tribe. Zahuti, Zedi Wu Zahutimus. Atlantis. A lot of people ask questions about Atlantis. What happened? What was Atlantis? Etc. Celtics. Celtics goes into who they are, how they've managed to instill this spell. Atlantis again. Your all names, your name. What's the importance of your name? Like the tones you use for your name. The unclean issue. This deals with like women and menstrual cycle and how you should live and the men as well in terms of dealing with cleanliness when it comes to your sexual and the way you live. The Adamites, the age of the Adamites passed. This breaks down who the Adamites are, when they came, why they came, and now their time is up. Sarab Uwu Karabu, that's seraphim and cherubim, which you hear about in the Bible. Black magic, white magic. What's the difference? Who uses black magic? Who uses white magic? Rams as lambs. That's people that are pretending. You hear the term wolves in sheep clothing. Racial deception, how the race card is played. The flood. I can go on and on, but this speaking of tongues. And this is just a series of Partarat. Then you have the actual facts, and you have the master secrets, and then you have a lot of updates and things that we get, which are not shared in public. So I hope that's helped you, Sheldon. Lee, you've been patient. If I haven't answered your question, Sheldon, let me know. If I have, let's move on to Lee.
Yes, I can. I notice you're going for the books, and then I'm wondering in my mind, oh my goodness, does it mean that to actually become a supreme being, you have to read all these books?
Well, I mean, all right, it's like your phone, right? Your phone needs apps to run, or your computer needs software to run. You don't have every single software or every single app on your phone, but you have enough to do what you need to do. So if you use that analogy, of course, we're supposed to read. I remember there was a sister that had a vision where she was explaining that she found herself in a pyramid, and the master was with her. And as it was a massive pyramid, but they were on the inside. And as they were going down, she said that she saw all these books like on all the sides of the pyramid going down. They were just like, she said, hundreds and thousands of books. And she was saying to the master, you mean I have to read all of this? And he said, yes. He's got 76 trillion years of knowledge. So I'm just saying you have to do your best and read as many as you can, because it's like loading up new apps on your phone to help you achieve and be more productive.
Okay. So you notice there's one thing attached to all these books, right? There's a price. Money is attached to these books. So it means, are you saying that people who can't afford to have these books don't stand a chance?
Not at all. This thing that let me deal with this books thing, because like this keeps coming up, and it's one of the issues with us in terms of as a people when it comes to economics.
Okay,
The
can I stop you for a moment? Second, you said that we're not black people. We're not black. I have seen black people. Listen, the first time I saw a black person, I couldn't
okay,
believe my eyes.
all right, all
Okay.
right, all right. You're picking. That's good. That's good. You're catching me up. But let me answer the question. Um, the knowledge is free. This is why we put our videos. We do these free classes. We've been doing these classes for over 50 years for free, right? And that's worldwide, different teachers. So the knowledge is free. The master teacher gives the knowledge for free. However, people will go to church and not get anything for years, and they will put money, 10% of their wages and all of that into the church, into the basket every week, and they won't complain about it. And they won't get the truth. They get wrong information. But when it comes to logistics and building a nation and building an organization so that we can thrive, you have to take into consideration that it takes people time to type up and write the information, to get the paper, to do the printing, to do the distribution. And because we're building, we have stores. And of course, we want to be able to get to a position where we can, the cost is reduced so much. This is why we say when we come together and work together, and people don't really support, if they supported, and like if you look at other races, Asians, Chinese, whoever, they work together, they buy in bulk, and it means that they can buy at very low prices, and it means we will be able to produce the books a lot cheaper. And obviously we have to sustain ourselves. Like most of our stores, our temples, we have to pay rent, we have to pay, and this is why we have to have our own stuff so we can actually own stuff. And to get to that, you have to deal with economics. And I'm saying you're not really paying for the information, you're paying for the ink, you're paying for the paper, you're paying for the proofreading, you're paying for the printing, you're paying for the distribution, you're paying to help us build so that we get to a point where we can give it for really low or for free. The master teacher always gave out books and gave out things for free. And now we're dispersed. We're all over now. Last point, our resources have been drained fighting the case for over 21 years with different lawsuits going on at the same time. And we're talking about millions and millions of dollars that we have spent, fighting this case. So once we get to the point where, like before, we were thriving. We had many stores, even just in the UK and worldwide. So this is what we're trying to do, rebuild. But people don't want to really, as I said, roll up their sleeves and let's get to work. Let's get it to a point where we can have books in all the different languages translated. We've got the whole world to reach, and you're talking about 8 billion people, and we're just scratching the surface. But I hope that's giving you an answer.
Not really, because it's still confusing in my mind. It's almost like we have to come together to free somebody who's supposed to be leading us, who is a supreme being, who's a supreme being. I don't know. It's a little confusing.
Okay, you've moved from the question about the books to us coming to. We're trying to free ourselves. We're not trying to free the master, even though it seems that way. Like I said, the test is for us to see whether or not we have learned the lesson of coming together and united. And him being a supreme being doesn't negate what we have to do, because he's done what he can do as a supreme being. No one else on the planet has done anything remotely near what he has done, giving us our own language, authoring over 1,000 books, building communities, and transforming many people's lives. So I don't understand the question. Is it what you're saying is compare him to anybody else on the planet, dead or alive? We can do that right now, and I guarantee you, you're not going to come up with anyone that has done the works that he has done. So he is a supreme being and he's proven himself. So I don't really understand how that relates to the books. The books are a legacy.
No, what I'm saying, no, you're saying that it's okay. It's we shouldn't look at it as we paying for the books, but more so a donation in helping us build something
Yeah.
in that would go far enough to help us free him.
No, I'm saying we have to sustain ourselves, right? We have.
Mhm.
We're saying give the Mukasu or the Adamites everything back. So we don't want to work for them. We don't want to, you know, do the things that keep us in the position that we are. If we're giving it back, that means we have to rebuild and replace everything for ourselves, right? So
Yeah, I understand about building
how
a
are we going to
community.
do? Yeah, how are we going to build a community without,
Mhm.
you know, having things that we're doing to generate, you know, the finances and everything that we need?
Okay, so but in terms of getting the information, why isn't it a thing where we have a book club where people buy different books and when they're done, they exchange books or stuff like that? I don't know if it's so much
All
a
right. What I'm
stream.
saying is, it's easy for you to stay out and say that. Why don't you implement that? Why don't
Yeah,
you
that would be something great to do because I'm
exactly?
thinking
This is
of so
what.
many people with so many people not being able to afford these books. I'm saying, why don't we have a book club where we exchange
Okay.
books?
What I'm saying, Lee, is that we have to come together to talk and implement the things that we need to reach everyone and make sure that everybody gets the information. And I'm saying
Hmm.
that we do that from the inside out because people will be outside the community, not
Hmm.
getting, not helping, not contributing, and will say, why don't we this? Why don't we that? Why don't we this? Why don't we that? But we're saying, not you, I'm not just directing this at you. We,
Yeah.
we're saying, come together, let's work and build and have.
Yes, yes. I guess you could tell the type of person that I am. I'm a mover and a shaker. So my thing is, I'm not going to be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. If I put my 2 foot in, it means that everybody's going to benefit. You understand?
Well,
That's why I ask a lot of
we,
questions.
yeah, that's what we want. Can I just ask, how long have you been in exposed to Wu-Sabat, or when did you first come in?
It's quite a few months now. I've been following because I'm not a religious person at all, but I do a lot of seeking, a lot of studying, and I just when I landed on you guys,
All
it's
right.
like okay, that's something
So
different.
yeah, good. So
Hmm.
you're one of those people that, like you say, it's only 3 months, and I would say, you know, yeah, come in. Let's get the work done. Let's get
But I
involved.
noticed that I noticed, but I also noticed when I try to sign up, it asks for my CV and my ID and all that stuff. And I'm like, huh?
Okay, let me
Why?
ask you something. You will happily give that to the Adamites when you go to open a bank account, get a mobile phone, get a mortgage, or whatever employment. This is what I'm saying. We have to get out of this mindset. That's not trusting each other, but we will trust everyone else and do what they ask us for. Like just to get a mobile phone. Sometimes the stuff they ask you for, you're like, why do I need to do all of this? But the mindset, and I have to say, 3 months in, you're still a baby, and
Definitely, I'm
it's
definitely a
fine you
baby.
asking your questions, but
Hmm.
come close. Where are you based, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm in New York.
Okay, well, go to the New York community, go to the bookstore, and speak with the family and get involved and start to basically put your money in your mouth. What they say, put your money where your mouth is.
Put your money where your mouth is. Yes,
Yeah.
I don't. I honestly, the biggest problem for me with the religion is tithing. Tithing. I believe in an offering because I believe in building a community and everybody has to give what it is that they have, not just money, but what it is, whatever skill that they have. But
Yes.
I believe in a donation. I just don't believe in tithing.
Okay,
But
cool. So we're not a religion, like you said, and it's good
mhm.
that you want to get involved. But I'm gonna have to move on because we've got loads of people waiting to ask questions. I hope that's helped you. But yeah, the main thing is, 3 months in, you still got to
I
establish.
didn't say 3 months. I said a few months,
Oh,
way more
okay.
than 3 months.
Okay. I didn't hear you say. All right, but yeah,
Yeah,
let's get to work then. Action speaks
oh,
louder than words.
that's for sure.
All right.
But I won't
Keep it
commit
up.
to actions if I'm not going to take part.
All right. I mean, the class is still going to go on for a while if you have any other questions, but let me go to Kosi and then TBJ. and then we'll see if anyone on Clubhouse has any questions. Right, so go ahead, Kosi.
Wu-Sabat student Queen.
Rahul.
Nice to talk to you. I think just to go back on the point she was mentioning, I think she was kind of looking for where to get the books, and I wanted to mention like the Telegram groups for the Wu-Sabat community where they share the books and they talk about all of that. So I think that she can have a good like the books with a good cause where she can follow and get the information. I think that was a question.
Right.
And my question was, you talked about crypto, and I wanted to know if it's a bad thing or a good thing, and if Wu-Sabat has a crypto account where we could participate.
Okay, again, as you can all see,
where I am is like he has always been complicated with these banking issues. Like,
all right, let me answer the question, please. Right, with me, I do cut people off quick because sometimes people don't ask a direct question and they kind of give a sermon before they ask the question. Not saying that about you, I'm just saying in general. Okay. You should all realize by now, right? This is a worldwide organization. We have a lot of work to do, and we have to. We are professionals. We've got every type of professional you can think about in the organization: engineers, programmers, name it. We've got plumbers. But the problem we are having at the moment is coming together and building, and we've done that in the past, and we can do it again. So all the ideas and all the things that people are talking about, we can do. And the title of the class, if I just reset the room, was what's really going on the planet or on Earth. And this is what we're saying, that we have to come together so we can set up and provide everything we need. Crypto, whatever we need, right? Right now we're involved. And you won't know unless you're involved or you're on the inside and working with people that are doing those things. But believe you me, because we've got all the professionals and all the skills we need, we can do anything. And we have a time factor as well. We have to hurry up and stop talking and come together. Even let's just take this store, which is replicated all around the world, where you have stores. People don't get involved and help and do their part to make things flourish. You'll find that even with all the information we have, it's only a handful of people that actually do what they say they're going to do. I've been around and I've seen so many people come and go. I mean, one of our videos reaches 400,000 people easily. Go on YouTube and look at our videos and look at the views, right? Now, when you say how many of those people actually follow up and do what we're teaching and saying you should do, you'll find that the numbers drop. Many people give it the talk, but they don't actually do the work. And if you're about working and you're about building and you know that we go through this to give you the truth, to give you the information, not so that you just spend all your time asking questions. The questions are supposed to allow you to like scrutinize everything we do, because we're an open book. We're very transparent. We give you the truth. We walk the walk, and you've seen it because we're like, ask us anything to anyone worldwide, so that they can scrutinize and test us, and then you get to a point where you're like, you know what, this makes sense to me. It's the truth, and now I want to actually get involved and do something instead of talking. We do talk a lot, you know, so to make it easy for us, we need to get to the action. So we are aware that there are different parts of the world where the currency, the UK currency, the dollar is too expensive for them. So we have to figure out a way of how we can make, the books accessible. And this is why we say, build classes, have communities everywhere so that people can go to class Like people are asking questions that don't have the books, and we give the information in the Telegram group. We give the information. We have live classes every Tuesday on YouTube where we're giving that information constantly. We're putting out videos for free, you know. So, but to really build, we need people to come in, get involved, bring your skills from whatever walk of life you're coming from, ex-Muslim, ex-Christian, ex-Nation of Islam, ex, you know, Israelite, Hebrew Israelite, Israeli church, wherever you're coming from, atheist. As long as you're about truth and you're about building a new world that is peaceful and we can work together to bring a better world for our family, our children, and that's anyone who's interested in doing that. That's what we're about. You know, Wu-Sabat is a future and you have to see yourself in it. All right, let me, is that your last question?
Yeah, that was my question.
All right. And then I saw TBJ. Where's TBJ?
I'm
TBJ?
still here.
Yeah, if you would like to ask a question, please.
Okay. Rahubat, everyone. I
Rahul.
kind of understand the young lady, with her many issues with what's going on. But I kind of suppressed all of that with me. And I said, okay, it was like you said, I gave the people, when you go, you give them all your information. My problem is just trying to keep my footprint offline. That's what I do. But I just, I felt that was a barrier and I submitted. Now my only problem is when I write in, I'm trying to get support to go further. I'm getting blocked and it's becoming frustrating.
All right.
So my thing is, I'm sending texts. I'm not, if I go from one site to the other, I'm just getting, and it's
Okay.
really messing with my vibration.
I hear you. I hear you. Again, we have all types of people that are approaching us and saying they want to be a part. You don't know, in order to know who is real and who is serious, just like I said,
I got it. I got that.
yeah,
I
we
got
got
that.
to know who you are because you can have infiltrators, and this is part of
And exactly.
how
So
the
that's
master
why I
ended up.
submitted.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
now I'm at the point where, if
I'm
you're out
trying
of the
to,
book,
yeah, I'm trying to address it for you, sis,
okay.
Zamata. Right. So we are at the point where we have to scrutinize people. We have to know who's coming amongst us, and we have to know who's serious. And once we also then have being inundated with so many people, and the administration are struggling because again, many hands make light work. So
Right.
it's taking a bit of time, but we have a Telegram group. This is what I'm saying. Like, if people get involved and help where we need help, it will make things run a lot more smoothly and quicker. So our administration, even here in the UK, need support, need help. And so people don't, you get some people will come and they won't last. They'll be here for a bit and they're gone, So I'm saying we're doing our best in terms of with the resources that we have. And every bookstore around the world is in a similar position where we have to get from the point of people, because it comes from your heart. We don't force anyone to do anything they don't want to do. It's got to come from your heart. Because if you are about building, if you love the master teacher, Partner Babjanon, as most people say they do, then let that love, let it be shown by way of your actions, not by lip service, and the thing as well is that you're not going to get on with everybody. Like any community, any family, people are not going to get on sometimes. But the mission and what we have to do and what we're trying to achieve in terms of number one, show the master teacher that we are worthy and deserve the fact that he sacrificed his entire life for us. They have approached him many times to say, we will release you if you tell everyone that everything you've been teaching was a lie. And he's like, no, I'm not doing it. And he has put his life on the line to make sure the truth gets out. And I'm saying, like, all he asks of us is learn to come together in love and unity. Put away your differences, look at building, because everyone else, every other race can do it. They come together, they build, they even build like memories in terms of statues of their, you know, their leaders. When it comes to us, we will let silly, trivial, I don't like you things get in the way. And I'm saying, like, everyone that's listening, everyone across the world, get involved with your local community. Go to the stores. Don't just be like an armchair, what they call it, like footballer. You know, the people that are on the chair and they can tell you how they will score the goal, but they don't get off the chair and go and play. So I do hope, like, be patient. We're doing our best. We're working through. And if you are able to help, yeah, let us know, because you might be able to help, you know, with the administration or whatever we need to get the job done. And, you know, that's the best we can do. We can only do our best. Remember, we have been dispersed all over the world. We had our own land, we had our own, you know, admin structure, we had different things going on. But at the moment, we're rebuilding, and it's going to take time. So please be patient. And if you're in the Telegram group, you'll get the link to the WhatsApp administration group that will help you. All right. I'm lost now. Who was next? Patricia? Yeah, Patricia. If you would like to unmute your mic and ask your question, please.
Okay, this is not so much a question. It's more like I need to say this.
Sure, go ahead.
Yes. You're so on time. It's timely what you're doing. I really feel the need to say it, because just to let you be aware, not that you don't know and other people on here don't know how timely we are, and that the time to get serious in what we're doing is now, regardless of whether you've just started a month ago or a day ago or many years ago. It is so timely, because it's only today I was thinking, oh, let me see what's going on in the world. And I begin to do some research and realize that there is so much going on in America right now with their economy that is going to affect us here in the UK. If it's probably happening already. And okay, we are learning all of this from in our community, but there is so much else happening outside that is going to affect us, and we need to get serious.
Thank you. I'm glad you.
When I saw the topic tonight, I just sat here and thinking, what we are doing is really serious. There is something else apart from just us that is guiding us. And absolutely. I just want to say, Saken, thank you. I have, I've recently joined, and I've come out of religion, but I've come out now since 2017. And I've been on my own until now. I'm with this community, and it is fantastic what is happening. I just want to say thank you. And to everyone that is working along with you, thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad you brought the, thank you so much. We appreciate your comments and kind words. I'm glad you brought it back to the topic of the class. And this is what we're saying, like, there's so much going on in the world, so much that's about to take place and happen between now and 2030, because, as we said, the Adamites' time has run out. They're looking to get off the planet. They're looking to take as many people with them as they can. And those who are going to be prey are those that are not organized and in communities that are self-dependent. Like we say, do for self and kind. You can't expect anyone else to do it for you. We are all we got. And we are, when I say we, I have to always emphasize, we're dealing with humanity, but charity begins at home. Everyone else, like, they know who we are, but they've tried over the years to suppress who we are. But as you say, this is now our ancestors, the time we're in. It's our time, but we're still not, as I said earlier on, we're not getting it. A lot of us don't realize how vital and how important it is for us to wake up, come together, free the master teacher, rebuild, and be who we're supposed to be. Everyone else knows our power. Everyone else knows what we're capable of. Our problem is we don't know, or a lot of us still don't know. And that's because of the tools that have been used to suppress us, like religion, like making you think you're inferior. And this is the time. Anyone who's about truth, anyone who's about world peace, anyone who is really about getting rid of these 6 evil forces on the planet, which is happening anyway, because they were only allotted 6,000 years by way of the programming of their telomeres at the end of their chromosomes, that they will fade away from the year 2000. People expect it to just happen overnight. It's not. It's going to rely on us doing what we're supposed to do. So stop the talking, get involved. I mean, our classes are growing more and more every day. I mean, we've got 52 people on the Zoom alone. And yeah, we are the new supreme beings, the new master teachers of this new cycle. And it's about what we say. We're the authority. It doesn't matter about what anyone else has got to say out there. They're not us. And we have to do what we have to do. So thank you for bringing it back to the topic of there's a lot happening and we need to make sure that we're ready. We need to make sure we're ready in every sense of the word that you can think of. And the way we're going to do it quickly is to be who you are. Embrace your culture. Live Wu-Sabat. Everyone just looks like, I hope you lot are not scared. You can't be scared. What's stopping you? What's stopping us? Nothing. Has anyone got any concerns, worries? Let me read the chat. There's some questions in the chat. Right, let's start from on Zoom and then I'll come to Clubhouse. Yeah, someone is saying about, there was a planetary alignment on the, wow. Sorry, I'm getting a call. Sorry about that. I just got a call come through. All right, so yeah, going back to the question, the alignment took place here on January, and this is no coincidence because someone saying with the inauguration of Trump, Elon Musk made a gesture Nazi related, and I think Nazi to do with impending race war. Yep, the race wars are something that some are pushing. Watch What's that movie? Civil War. If you haven't seen that movie, watch that. That will give you a good idea of what's going on right now. Yeah, and if you notice what's going on, a lot of things they're trying to come and implement, and the war is very real, the risk of the war. So we need to hurry up, get ourselves together. And as the master said, we need to get out of certain places because those fires and everything are just starting. And yes, that's it. When the master spoke about these cyclones, he said that our ancestors are working with us. And if you notice certain areas that are being targeted and it's strategic. And so our ancestors deal with nature. So it's time. It's that time where things are changing. How do we know which of our ancestors to call on, as this is from Jackie, as we don't know if they are agreeable or disagreeable? That's why you have to learn and understand and know what to do. I'm not sure if you're new, but we have rituals that deal with how you communicate with your ancestors. Join the Telegram group if you haven't already, because that information has already been posted several times. you have to understand that you have both agreeable and disagreeable within your ancestors, and you have to align. You have to align with the agreeable ones. I'm going to check the Telegram group as well because that pinging a lot. Okay, so if you're new, learn and get the information about how to contact your ancestors. As a newcomer, what books do you recommend to start with? I'm telling you, man, some of these questions we hear over and over and over again. That's Globe. With the books, you have to look at the titles, look at the covers, look at what jumps out at you. That normally that's from the inner being or from your ancestors guiding you to that information. We've actually also, because we've heard this question so many times, we've put a book out called Fast Track Your Spiritual and Conscious Journey, which gives you a good foundation very quickly so that you know what to do and what not to do and which books are available and so on and so forth. So get that, that's a good start. But really look at the books, look at what titles jump out at you and go for that. Rahul Bazama, where can I obtain this prayer forgiveness? I was reading that from the scroll called The Nine by Baba Yanun. Again, with the books, some of them you can only find online. Some of them are out of print. So you just have to look and see where it's available. I don't know anyone else, but some of the questions aren't coming through clearly. Maybe the microphone needs to be held correctly. Okay. Can always prepare questions before the classes because now I'm focused at listening to your teachings. From the Anunnaki edition, I only want to listen. Okay. Yeah, sometimes it's it's better to just listen and absorb things than just asking for the sake of asking. Continue to follow Christ. That is questionable, or make your own way. I don't understand that question. The information is free, the materials cost money. Supreme Being isn't a superhero in a movie. His knowledge is incredible. Okay. I'm from Uganda, wanted to start out store, but it's a bit expensive in Africa. Yeah, we work with people to do that. There are questions here in the chat section as well. Kindly address them. All right. How do we connect all the ethnic groups in Africa? We're doing that by spreading Wu-Sabat and opening up, different centers and stores, and that's what we're working on doing. And if you're in Africa, then you're the seed. We can work with you and help you to get to a point where you know what you're doing, and then you can teach classes or whatever. But work from the inside out, not from the outside in. Okay. How can we be of help for administration? Right. So you've made that comment. Someone will get in touch with you. That's Chris Adam. It depends where you are as well. They can't stop us now. Absolutely, Patricia. No one can stop us. Okay, I've answered. I've answered everything in the chat. All right. Let's see if there's anything in the chat on Clubhouse. If you have a question, please raise your hand to be brought up onto the stage, and one of the the moderators will bring you up on the stage. All right. Anyone in class have a question? No? Okay, go ahead. Who was that?
I got a question.
Go ahead.
In ancient Tamaray,
Yeah.
the rulers, was their life ever easy?
Was their life ever easy?
Yes. Did they live an easy life?
Well, it depends on who you were and what kind of status you had in society, because here. Sorry,
to make it crystal clear, the Afatis, they had an easy life.
The who?
The Afatis, the pharaohs,
No, they didn't. They didn't. No, the 30s, they were basically, they had to be fit to rule, and they had to be very, they had to go through certain tests. So, but of course, it's like in any society, those who are more wealthy and well off are going to have an easier life than those who are in the lower kind of in the hierarchy. So, but no, everyone obviously works and has different challenges. Even rich people have challenges, you know. But the 30 were ruling, and that's, if you read, in fact, let me see if I can find it. In the Black Book, the master explained about being an 30, and he's a 30 during that time when we started to reenact these rituals that an 30 had to go through to show that they were still fit to be in that position of rulership, to guide and and guide the community. So he had to go through that. But to answer your question, it depends on who you are, where in terms of where you were in the society. Okay, here we go. Question. Nate Aferti Atum Ray, have you celebrated the Z ceremony? In fact, let me see if I can go back. Yeah, so from page 20, no, let me go from page 19. I'm going to read about the 30. Yeah, so in fact, let me go to page 18. Question, where did you come from? I, as a Nateru, as a pillar of my great society of Riskians from the 19th galaxy, Ilium, come from the star Sibtu, Sept, which you call Sirius, my newly acquired home after the catalytic calamity of Risk, so that I, a man from planet Risk, may be with you and resurrect you from this death of mind, Khat, body, Ka, spirit, and Ba'a, soul. This assures all that in the beyond, as an Aferti, the word Aferti means Pharaoh, you will be safe in Ma'at, the correct order of this world and beyond. I, as your ever-living Aferti, I wear the Atif, the crown of Asaru, Usia, and hold the Was, the Kuk, staff, and the Hu, flail. I also possess the Hik, scepter, Psalm 23. I complete each year on the day of my birth with celebrating the Z festival before all eyes to see. So he explained, what is a Z festival? Every 30 years in ancient Tamaray, in the holy city of Anu or On, there was the Z festival celebration. The purpose of this festival, Z festival, was for the rejuvenation of the ruling Araferti. Crowds from all over Tamaray came to watch the pharaoh run a course in the Z court or the Hawara path of the Mugaraj. Question, what was the purpose of the run? The run was a renewal of the ruler's power. Afterward, he was recrowned as a ruler of Upper and Lower Tamaray. At what point of an Aferti rule does he perform this festival? When a ruler had reigned for 30 years, he celebrated the magical Heb Zed festival. This festival was supposed to renew the ruler's strength. The ceremonies included a special run that symbolized taking control of his realm and also showed that he was physically fit to rule. Did every Aferti have to perform a Z ceremony? Answer, yes. Every Aferti was anxious to celebrate the Z festival at least once. The 30th year of the reign has been generally accepted as a jubilee year, since this was also the year chosen by Ramesses II for the first celebration of the Z festival. And it goes on and on to express that. But to be a pharaoh and to write all the books and to guide, his people, is not an easy task. Although one might say that, he's of the upper class, if you want to use that term. So I hope that answered the question for you.
Yes, okay.
All right. So we have Steve Eden with his hand up. Eden, would you like to unmute your mic and ask your question?
Okay.
Okay, I put a question in the comment, the chat section, okay?
Okay, how does one connect his higher self? Is that the question?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, how does one connect to her higher self? In other words, connecting to one's soul. you're already connected to your soul. Some people need to recharge or reactivate their soul, because living in the 6 ether Adamite world, your light dims, and because you're not doing the things you're supposed to do as a supreme being, you kind of like, and when we're saying soul, we're talking about that energy, yeah, which the light within you, some refer to as the solar plexus, because to be alive means that you're breathing and burning, or going through the process of burning. Taking in oxygen and giving out carbon dioxide means that the fuel in you. So by not doing the things you're supposed to do in terms of like everything, a lot of people don't even walk properly, they don't breathe properly, they don't eat properly, they don't sleep properly. And it may sound like these things are, you know what I mean, trivial or like common sense, but most people don't sleep the way they're supposed to sleep. You're supposed to sleep on your back or on your right-hand side, because your major organs are on the left-hand side. And if you constantly like put pressure on them, it can affect you. Breathing, a lot of people don't practice breathing in terms of taking in oxygen through their nose and breathing out their mouth. What else did I say? Walk properly. Many people are wearing the wrong shoes and their posture is off. Women that wear high heel shoes, it can affect your fertility. Many things that we don't do properly. So by doing the right things, you start to reconnect with your inner being. Drumming, going out in nature, mindfulness, the good deeds that you do, the ashuk, divine love, getting rid of the 9 mental diseases, you know, that's ego, jealousy, so many things that we do, not realizing that all of that affects us. So in order to connect with your soul, you got to get back in tune with the true you, the real you. And, you know, by, like I said, doing these things, you start to get back your power. And obviously things like meditation, relaxation, all the power tracks I was going through, they help you to get in tune. And then being in tune with your ancestors as well, that will guide and help you. So you connect by, really, first of all, recognizing that you are more than the physical body, the skin suit, and then starting to talk to your inner being, starting to know that you know, there are many things we do, but you'll have to kind of read some of the scrolls, like the 30 spirits, soul, spirit, many scrolls that get you the chanting that helps you to align you using the right tones, the tones of FAC. And the FAC is important because the A relates to your body and in being in tune with the planet. Because, you know, there's a resonant frequency that everyone vibrates on, and that helps you to stay in tune. You've got the F is nature, because you're connected to nature as well. And then finally, the C deals with your connection all the way through the cosmos, to be able to communicate with beings that are in different realms, and you know, different dimensions. You know, it's actually quite simple in terms of what we've got to do. We make it complicated because we still follow and live in a 6 ether mindset, and we have to eradicate that. And really, you should be reading constantly if you have access to the scrolls. There are many scrolls now that are being circulated digitally online.
Salon, excuse me for a moment.
Go ahead, Nicole.
So if you're saying that we have to actually sleep on our back, some of us will a lot of people when they sleep on their back, they contract a lot of negative energy. So is that they have to wake up and turn on their side? Not everybody could sleep on their back, because sleeping on their back will affect them too as well in their dreams.
What's the question?
Saying that we could able to sleep on our back as well, on our right side and not the left side.
Yeah, I'm telling you what we've been taught by the master teacher, and I gave you the reason why, because of your organs. Now,
why when we lie on our back sometimes, there are negative energy affect us when we're facing upwards in the atmosphere.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to explain to you is when you're lying that way, you're more likely to astral project and come out of your body and like get into the spiritual realm and spiritual aspects of your being. And a lot of us are afraid to learn about these things. These are things that we're supposed to know and know how to leave our body, our spirit, physical body at will and be able to get back. If you don't know what you're doing, then that's when other beings can interject or get involved, or you can get caught out of your body and can't get back. This is why you have to be taught and trained on these spiritual practices. Now, I'm not saying that people are not going to have certain experiences if they lie on their back, but this is what the master has taught us in terms of the best way to sleep is not to and you can do research anyway, like not to overpressure your major organs. Not everyone, obviously, some people haven't trained themselves to do that, and it may take time. And this comes with, practicing. But, that's what we've been taught, and that's what we teach based on the correct information. But not everyone's ever going to follow everything to the T, or some people may not be used to it. And like with any new practice, it may take you some time to adjust.
How to talk to more.
so-
How to for that one.
No problem.
Enlighten me on that one.
Yeah, valid question. Doctors advise to lie
Yeah,
on the
because I do get that kind of problem when I sleep on my back. So that's why I asked the question, not just for me alone, for others who
Okay.
wondering to know why it do happen.
Try doing it on your right hand side and see what happens. And
Yes, I'd be very comfortable on my right hand side. I'm very comfortable with that. Okay, can I ask one more question?
wait, before that, let me just answer Eden, because Eden
Okay,
said,
go on. This so.
no, it just relates to the same question. He says, valid question, doctor's advice to lie on the left side. We keep saying this. The Adamites and the system that you've been following give you misinformation or wrong information. Just because they say that's what you should do doesn't necessarily mean that's what's best for you. And this is part of the problem. We're saying we have to learn to stop listening and following things that they're telling us and research and find out things for ourselves. Don't just go, like the mindset of, oh, Google says it, so that must be true, or the doctor says it, and some of the time they don't even know. But go ahead, Nicole, with your second part.
Yeah, so what about if a messenger came to give you a message to help someone, and then you in the dream you just being afraid the message didn't get to finish sorry, the message didn't get to finish. So you comes out from the dream. Would they still give you that answer out from the dream?
Right. We always say, again, your dreams are your dreams, and no one can really tell you. If I was in your dream, then maybe I could get into it. But this is what we're being taught. We're supposed to learn how to travel in those states, and you can even go back to the place you were and continue that. Like, let's say you went somewhere, you visited somebody, you should know and learn how to be able to go back there and meet them again and finish off whatever. But because we don't know how to do these things anymore, we do it at random. We're not in control. And these are the things we have to learn. We have to learn how to basically visit these different realms, come back to our body, get messages, remember, because in ancient times, one of the ways that you were tested is in your dream state. So students that were being initiated, they would be given certain information during that state, and then when they wake up, tested to see if they passed the test or remembered the test. So what I'm saying is that these things, like us being able to travel between, as Nagaru, as 9 ether beings with souls, we should be able to traverse the whole 9 realms. And remember, within each realm, there are different dimensions. And this is why sometimes people that have an experience by traveling to a dimension will come back and tell everyone they've been to heaven, for example, and this is what they saw and this is what it's like, just based on their experience, not knowing that there are different dimensions that other people would go to that are different from the one they went to. And you're dealing with multiverses. If you haven't watched the movie Doctor Strange, the one that deals with the multiverse, watch that, because it kind of gives you an idea of the different, dimensions within certain realms. Not everyone can reach different realms.
Jamal, that movie's on Netflix or YouTube?
The movie, you can find it online, I'm sure by now, Doctor Strange. Just look for, I think it's the latest one. Just look for the latest Doctor Strange. I'm sure if I can find it. But yeah, I don't know if it's on Netflix. I'm just saying that it's a movie that came out not too long ago. But I'm saying that we have to, the master teacher, if you read and listen to some of the updates, like the seed and atomic and certain updates that he has given us, he's talking about us having the ability to be able to do these things and things that he will teach us once we have him back in our present. And that's why we keep saying that, yeah, it's called Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. This is why we keep emphasizing that we have to get him out. And that can happen anytime, He's definitely coming out. We just have to do our part, and the rest will be smooth for us. If we don't do our part, then we only have ourselves to blame, because we're very capable. People just need to not go back to sleep once they wake up. Okay, this is the movie. I pulled it up for those who want to.
So Zamal, you don't have to have a specific name of the place where you get the message, or you don't have to get the name of the specific messenger that bring the message.
What I'm saying is that dream is your dream, and whatever the message was, it was for you, and no one can really interpret your dream for you. Sometimes the best thing to do is keep a notebook by the side of your bed so that you can record and write down, what happened. And then the next time you may be able to add another piece to the puzzle, and eventually you'll be able to put the pieces together on what experience you're having. Some dreams are like visions, which are separate, which is messages that are given to you to share with everybody else. But most of the time, the dreams are for you and, for you only. And sometimes it could just be you getting rid of, things that you've experienced or stored in your subconscious. Like, you may have watched certain movies. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm speaking in general for the class and for everyone else. Sometimes you've got a lot of junk stored in your memory, in your subconscious, that will replay in your dreams, things that are going on in your life that you may need to purge. So yeah, I hope that's helped. But your dream is really for you, and we're not able to.
Okay,
you're welcome. Chris Adam, if I may ask another question, what does it mean when you hear a high pitch sounding on the right side, left side, or sometimes both ears? I know we've done a video and covered the ringing in the ears, which the master has spoken about, but every situation is different. Sometimes people have rings based on the electromagnetic, things in their environment. There may be, these towers and things. You may be, subjecting yourself to too much loud music. I'm not saying this is the case for you because I don't know the circumstances, but you can, you have 9 magnetic particles that a lot of us have lost by being surrounded with harmful radiation and, harmful electromagnetic activity around us. Listening to loud music, being in the wrong places at the wrong time, and also not rebuilding our melanin, our neuromelanin. And You know, when you're not sleeping properly, that you're not drinking a lot of water. In addition to that, you have special people that extraterrestrials may be communicating with, and our ancestors have been checking on some people that the master explained. When the time comes, if we're in a situation where, you know, catastrophes happen on the planet, satellites are knocked out, these people will be communicated to give directions and give messages and guide other people to safety. You can find that in many of the scrolls. But again, I don't want to speculate because it could be anything to do with why you're having the high pitch sound. It may be what I've just said based on what the master has taught us, or it may be any of the other things I've said. So you may want to change your environment, see what electrical signals and electrical equipment you have around you, mobile phones. Some people sleep with their phones, right? You know, there's a lot of radiation and things like that. So do a process of elimination, sleep somewhere else, get rid of electrical signals and things in your environment. Headphones, a lot of these Bluetooth headphones are not good for you. They have a lot of radiation as well. So just kind of like go through the series or stop using, you know, if you have those Bluetooth headphones, get rid of, or you can even get certain crystals and things that, what do they call those, them lamps, crystal lamps that will absorb shungite, certain things that will absorb frequencies and harmful frequencies around you. All right, hope that's helped. Clubhouse has been very quiet. Asaru, I see you on stage. Are you there? Do you want to say anything? Do you want to ask a question? Anyone else on Clubhouse that hasn't had?
Yes, I would like to ask a question.
Sorry, who's that?
Yeah, Stephen, yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
In Wu-Sabat, yeah, what is a vulnerable being?
What is a
vulnerable being?
I mean, where's that? Where are you getting that information from? When you say
in Wu-Sabat.
When you say vulnerable being?
Yeah.
No, I'm saying, is that just you asking, or are you reading something that says vulnerable being?
That's just coming from my mind.
Okay, we have many what would considered vulnerable beings or vulnerable people. You know, we do have mental health issues in our community. We have people that have gone through traumatic, you know, experiences. Many, just like in any society, you know, we do have vulnerable people. So, I don't know. I mean, there's so many situations like people that have gone through all kinds of things that are vulnerable. And that's again why we need to set up the way we were before, where we have practitioners in our community, people that can help deal with vulnerable people. You know, their people may have all kinds of, you know, I mean, disabilities, if you want to use that term. So we have to realize that as a community, we're going to have people at all levels, and why we need to have professionals at all levels to help deal with some of these situations. You see, even in the groups, you know, you can develop to a point where you can literally tell when people have bipolar, or there may be what people call ADHD, anxiety. You know, we have many people in our community that could be considered vulnerable. And at the same time, this is where our love, our shuk, and being able to cater and help people comes in, because when you're a well-rounded being in Wu-Sabat, it's not just about just knowledge and not just about the physical as well. It's about, you know, the compassion, your care, your ability to help other people. All right. TBJ, I can see you've got a very long. Did I answer your question about the vulnerability?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if people and people who have the skills realize whatever skill you have, you know, it's necessary and needed in a community. You know what I mean? So we have healers, we have people that are actually even in this society qualified to deal with many things. and we need to bring it all together. All right, let me read TBJ. I didn't get to finish. Forgive me for not leading with this. I wish that we could get on site one day where you didn't have to defend the master teacher because it's taxing to the cause. I know everyone is working and they come and go. I would like to do more when I learn more. I listen to most videos and like them. I've asked my local library to place his books on their literature list. Keep up the great works. Thank you. Again, we have to realize the master teacher being free is to their detriment, because the reason they try to suppress him is because they don't want his information out. So, I mean, I'm talking about those who are adverse to what we do, but they can't stop it anyway, because like they tried to do it by ridiculing him when he first was teaching about all the things that have come to pass. So we have to remember that we have to do for self. We have to have our own libraries. We literally need to stop. I'm not saying it's not a good initiative. Right now, we have to do what we have to do till we get to a position where, you know, many people have come with the idea of we should have libraries, and that's true, where people can come and read. The books are available. You just, you know, rent them out or whatever it is and read and put them back so other people can do so as well. So all these initiatives are things we can do. We're meant to have everything. You know, we're supposed to be royalty. We're rich. Our heritage is rich. And wow, I've gone way over time. I didn't realize. We're supposed to be able to do for self and kind in every way, shape, or form. And if we can't do that, then why do we have all this knowledge? But I didn't realize we've gone way over time. Time goes so quickly. I would advise everyone to join the Telegram group if you haven't done so already. The smallest things help us, like subscribing to the channel, OSM Vision, sharing the videos, liking the videos, because we're living in a world of technology and all the algorithms, you know, help to push our videos and to get the information out there. But ultimately, donate to the legal. We have many legal efforts going on right now, and you'll get all that information from being in the groups. Attend classes, study, read, and then teach. We covered some of the things, but you have to remember, no one's going to give you the information that the master teacher has given us. And we actually have some new information coming out as well. So stay close, watch the videos, get involved. And until next week, I'm going to say wadu and tawukum.